Okay, perfect. Can I just have you start out by introducing yourself for us and what you do on the Love Victor project?
Sure. My name is Leland, and I am the executive music producer for all the original songs in Love Victor, as well as the soundtrack.
Perfect. And I want to talk more about the Love Victor soundtrack, but I also just want to know more about you. So I'd love if you could just talk about how you got your start in music and just kind of getting your step in the industry.
Yeah, no problem. I grew up in South Mississippi. I grew up in a super conservative town, state, house, and sort of had to find different ways to express myself within what was available to me, as well as what was on TV and different shows that I was able to watch maybe when I was home alone, or like TRL or things like that I would come home and watch. I'm very much from that time period. And so I just found a love for music. And like I said, my outlet at the time was to write and perform Christian music and praise and worship music, because that's all the opportunity that was there for me. And then as I graduated and moved to Nashville, Tennessee, I started listening to a lot of other different kinds of music, and meeting a lot of different people, and just being influenced by culture, like outside of Mississippi, and just started to find people that were like me, and started to find music that I like didn't just enjoy listening to, I died for, I related to, I wanted to know who the writers were behind it. And then, there was very much a culture of songwriting at Belmont where I went. And so I had a lot of friends that were performers, but might not necessarily have been able to write songs. So I found myself sort of writing songs for them. And through that, I was able to get a very, small publishing deal with EMI Music Publishing, which is now Sony Music Publishing. And it has been a wild journey, and I've been there now for 12 years.
Perfect. And you kind of spoke about, just finding what part of the media you related to and just, felt a connection with. And so now going into this Love Victor project, I mean, this is a show that's about LGBTQ life and love and just inclusivity. What has working on that project meant to you?
Working on a project like Love Victor is so special to me, because it is a show I wish existed when I was growing up, when I was in middle school, when I was in high school, and I could have seen for myself, oh, wow, it's not just my straight friends that should be in relationships, and I should be hearing about their drama and breakups and help them through heartache. I should be going through my own. I should be having my own relationships. But I didn't have that. I didn't have there was no blueprint for me. There was no I wasn't exposed to anyone that could sit me down and tell me the things that you're feeling not only are normal, they should be celebrated, and you should be pursuing love and heartbreak and all of these things, just like all of your friends who might not be queer. And so to work on a show that I know is making it easier for people to live their authentic selves, making it a little bit easier for people to go through these really important and potentially traumatic life events that we all go through, just to see it on TV, in mainstream culture, that this isn't about, it's not, it just focuses on what's actually happening to people. It's giving people more stories to say, oh, that's me. Oh, I relate to that. I see that. Now I see myself. And so I just think it's so important to be a part of that. And also, I found myself in a position where I was able to bring in so many different types of artists and different genres and different songwriters and producers, and from artists who are just starting to artists who are more established, and just create a really eclectic soundtrack that I'm so proud of. And really, you know, it's not till after the show comes out when we sit for a second and just look at what we created, which was an album, and start to hear from these artists as to how this opportunity has really helped and changed some of their lives, and brought them just some really proud moments from even where they grew up. And so I'm so happy about that and to be a part of it.
Yes, I love it so much, the album, the soundtrack, and I love all the artists that you brought on, and I'm glad you brought that up. I want to talk more about just the choosing of them and like what behind the scenes that looked like. Did you get the tracks written first, or how much involvement were the artists in it? Can you just elaborate on that?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, so I would be sent the episodes and would work with Season Kent, who is an incredible music supervisor who brought me on board. And so we would go through the episode, and Season would say, here's a couple spots where I thought there could be original songs. Let me know what you think. And so we would look and watch the scenes and collaborate together on which scene we would focus on. And then I would create the initial idea with different collaborators. I would create the initial idea, and then if that was approved by many different people, then you go, okay, this verse and chorus idea, it has been approved for the scene. Now let's find the right artist. And there's so many things that you have to factor in when working on a project like this. It's not as simple. Even doing a project with the label, it is not simple. But when you're working in TV film, so many things have to be approved, and so many deals have to be done. Everyone needs to be fairly compensated. You want everyone to be taken care of. And especially on the artist end, there's so many approvals on their end, within their teams, their label, their publisher, everything that has to happen. So it is, each song represents like a massive amount of teamwork behind the scenes, separate from writing the song. You know, and I have an incredible team of women and queer people that I work with on a regular basis, and truly this would not have been possible without this collective of teamwork of people being passionate about the show. In order to expedite a deal that would normally take 6 weeks, we were doing deals for this show in 48 hours. You know, there were some points where we would write the song, get the artist on it, and get the deal done within like 72 hours. And that's really rare, but there was such a passion for this show. And when you're working against production deadlines, those are different than working on an album where, like, if the album's not done, you can push it. Like, it's not a big deal. Whereas this is, I'm working against someone else's deadlines. I'm working with an entire production company's post-production deadlines. So there isn't room to be like, I need 2 more days. You work with what you have available to you. And it was just a really fun, crazy process, organized chaos for sure. But, you know, FLETCHER was the first artist that came on board the soundtrack, and I'm so grateful for that, because her coming on board created some momentum. And She Said was the first song that I started, and then it was just a seed of an idea, and brought FLETCHER on board, and she immediately had a vision for the song. And so we did probably 3 or 4 sessions, many rounds of notes, to get that song to a place where not only was it right for the scene, but it was right for FLETCHER. And that's what always is so important to me when working on a show like this, is you're balancing serving the scene, which is the main goal. You know, this needs to be a beautiful foundation and support system for what's happening in the scene, whether it's a gay club or high emotion or heartbreak or a love scene. The song is there to heighten the emotion around that moment. And also, the song needs to be authentic to the artist that's performing it, and needs to be something that they are proud to release and fits within their world. So it's a lot to balance, but I'm so grateful. You know, there were certain artists that I was just so grateful to be able to work with, and within this circumstance. You know, there are artists that I've known for a really long time who had not come out of the closet, including myself, you know, when we first met 7 or 8 years ago or 9 years ago. So to now all be in this place where we're so sure of ourselves and the art that we're creating, to come together on a show like this is really special.
Thank you for sharing that. I love hearing all about the crazy chaos and the community that you guys were able to build. So when you're watching the scene back after you've created the song and you've put it in there, I mean, how does that feel, seeing the end results and watching how they all came to be one?
It is a magical feeling. Yeah, it's like what you dream about, you know, and even just, you know, you realize that some of the dreams that you like move to LA with, you don't have yet because you don't know that those opportunities are possible. And, you know, I remember just having the aspiration and the dream to just have a song on a soundtrack of any show, you know, and so to now make an album that lives within the show and outside of the show as a soundtrack is mind-blowing, and to be able to create it with friends, that is even better. It's a community that I have come up with over the past 12 years of living in LA, and I'm just so proud of everyone's journey and the things that they're accomplishing and the things that they stand for. And so it's, yeah, it's a very rewarding feeling. It's something where you have to remind yourself to slow down, recognize what you accomplished and how we were able to get this done. Because it's very easy to just quickly jump to the next thing. You know, I went from turning in the Love Victor soundtrack to that afternoon working on RuPaul's Drag Race. And my friends were like, what are you doing to celebrate? And I was like, celebrate what? And they were like, Love Victor, you just made an album. And that's so sweet of them, because otherwise I don't think I would slow down to just to be present in that moment of what we accomplished.
Absolutely. I think that's especially true now when we're all kind of at home, that celebrations kind of feel kind of glossed over. So it's especially important to celebrate this. And I mean, I would love to congratulate you, because I think it's amazing. And you did season 1 as well, and now season 2.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. I have to ask, just for Love Victor fans, I mean, do you have a favorite character from the show?
You know, I think it changes. I really relate to Victor's story because of the religious, just the religious foundation that he comes from family-wise, and the conflict within his mom and his parents. And, you know, life isn't just coming out, life is coming out and balancing the family dynamic. And there's so many other things happening within a family besides coming out, a lot of times at the same time. You know, you have siblings that are going through things. So I just really relate to that of feeling, well, the idea of, but I'm your son, you know, like you're struggling with something, but I'm your son, you know. And so I relate to Victor's struggle and longing to just not only feel accepted, but celebrated, not just tolerated, but yeah, celebrated.
And you mentioned you've done RuPaul's Drag Race and now you're doing Love Victor. Do you have any other upcoming projects?
Yeah, I mean, my goodness, you know, RuPaul's Drag Race All-Star 6 premieres today, and I did quite a bit of music for this season. And our RuPaul's Drag Race Live, which is a musical big stage show that happens at the Flamingo, Las Vegas. We made that show, and then and it was open for probably 2 months, and then COVID happened, and so it closed down, but now it's opening back up in August. So I'm very excited for that. I'm trying to think of what else. The Other Two, which is a show on HBO Max. Season 2 comes out, and love working on that show. I worked on season 1 and now season 2. And that's with Chris Kelly and Sarah Schneider, who were the head writers of SNL for a long time. And now they're doing this show, which is just brilliant. And yeah, there's, I've been working with Ava Max quite a bit on her next project and very excited about that. We had a really exciting chapter with Kings and Queens. And yeah, and then I'm also just taking a second to just to meet people and see, because these projects take a lot of time and they take a lot of commitment, and it's not just a 9 to 5, it is on the clock all day long, and I love it. And so I want to make sure that what I continue to invest time in is, it all doesn't have to be like so important. You can do things that are just fun, but I just want to like to just curate the things that I'm working on and make sure that they stand for something that I wish I had seen when I was a kid.
Yes, I think everything that you're working on is amazing. Thank you so much for speaking with me today and sharing your story. If people haven't, they should go watch Love Victor and hear all your tracks. But again, thank you so much for talking to me today.
Of course. Sounds good. Let me know if you need anything else.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Like this video? Follow us for more.